Hello. Do you guys remember the early 2010 or 2011, 2012 YouTube, I don't know what you call it, phenomenon, trend, whatever, where beauty YouTubers would make like beauty room tours or like beauty area tours where they would show off all of their makeup and brushes and whatever and kind of like take you through all the drawers and all that stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to channel that spirit today and I'm going to take you through my studio. I recently redid this half of my studio, the jewelry half. I have a bunch of other hobbies as well, but the jewelry half. And I like it. I want to show it off. So I'm going to do a little bit over the shoulder really quick, and then I will change the camera around and show a little bit more detail. So first I've got my cow skull there up on the wall. I got that in Clinton on my drive through. There's a store called the Clinton Emporium, which sells antiques and other weird stuff like that. And I got that for photography props for jewelry. But when I got it home, I decided that I just liked the way it looked. So I wanted to hang it on my wall. Okay, so behind me, actually I'll do a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick pan and then I'll switch the camera around because you're not gonna be able to see much with my face in the way. Nice shelf there. This part of the room, all of that is the non-jewelry stuff, sewing, felting, beading, painting, all that kind of stuff. That's the door. This is my soldering station. I'll show you my torches in a minute too. It's a vent hood so that I can vent all the nasty stuff out. Behind me is the bench. That's my bench pin. I have some really nice lights. I love those lights. And a lot of IKEA furniture as well, which maybe I can link if you guys are interested. All right, I'm going to switch the camera around and show in a little bit more detail. All right, so this is the non-jewelry side of the room. I mentioned before, this is like painting, drawing, house painting, sketchbooks, that kind of stuff, nature references, canvases. I won't spend too much time on here just because this isn't really relevant to jewelry, but yeah, got my TV there if I don't want to watch something. This is my grandmother's thimble collection because she used to do a lot of sewing as well. There's my sewing machine. I still need to hang those on the wall. And this shelf is kind of like building tools, garage type stuff. Not really hobby, just kind of, I need to fix something around my house. All right, and then this corner, hang on, let me back up. This corner, that whole half of the room, with the blue wall, all of that is jewelry. So I'm gonna go into that in more detail. And I only painted half of the room. You see the paint stops there and the paint stops there because I didn't want to move all the furniture over here and I only had the energy for one half of the room. So I painted one half. I'll paint the other half another time, I guess. All right, let's see. I'll show you around the corner as well. Oh, that's my, what would you call that? My stump, my anvil. That's where I do my hammering. This is like frames for display. I use those to make ring boxes or ring displays. All my stones in there, more packaging, hammering stuff. This is some, when I have my booth outside, I need like, what would you call that? Sunscreen and bug spray and that. Some supply catalogs. I got some china there. I'm gonna experiment with that in jewelry at some point. I'm gonna show you my stone boxes here in a minute. This is, keep all my stones in there. the rest of this is empty. That means I got more room if I want to buy more stones. There's stamps, letters, and stuff like that. I don't know how much detail to go into on the tools, but maybe I can do more another time. There's the drawer that's missing out of that thing. There's some turquoise in there. Got my caffeine. Working on a set of rings right now with these stones. Keep my pliers and stuff over there. The formulas for calculating how much wire to cut for what ring size, because I don't memorize that, I just reference it. And I've got a bunch of different wire and stuff in here. This is like, this is how the ring wire comes, like that. And all the other patterns, I've got, you see tons of this stuff here. If you're ever curious, that's how it comes. In a big spool, and then I cut the length and I solder it together. Safety equipment. This is my jewelry bench. This little piece here, I actually made this out of 2x4s and plywood when I first started making jewelry. And after I recently purchased the other IKEA furniture, I actually took a piece of this into the hardware store and had them match the color so that I could paint my bench to match. And now with these on the sides, it actually looks a lot like a professional jeweler's bench that you might buy, but a lot cheaper because they're quite expensive. I gotta show you guys my jeweler's saw in case you've never seen one before. This is a jeweler's saw. This is probably my favorite tool just because they're so cool looking. That little tiny string, that's the blade. It's very, very tiny. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. Yeah, it's super tiny. And they get a lot smaller than that even as well. This little guy here, this is called a pendant motor or a flex shaft. The motor's way up there. Some more pliers. The pedal down here is how I operate the flex shaft. And over here is the soldering station. I've got the range hood, so I can vent the nasty smoke and stuff like that, and some nice lights. And these are my torches down here. I've got two. One torch is this is the tank for one torch. It's this red hose in the front. That is called a silversmith torch, I believe. Correct me if I'm misremembering. That's what this one looks like. I've been using that one today. And then there's another torch I have that uses these two tanks. This is acetylene, that's propane, and that's oxygen. So these go to one torch. So if you follow this around here, that's my other torch right there. This one is called a Smith Little torch, I think. Yeah. So I use that for smaller pieces. This is an automatic torch lighter. You push here and it creates a spark. So if you've got gas coming out, you just touch it there and it lights your torch. This is my pickle pot. I buy these. These are just slow cookers I buy from like thrift stores and stuff. And you put acid in there. I've got some rings pickling right now. Those are the rings for the stones that I showed you on the other table. And then I've got, this is my tumbler. I use this for polishing. So I've got steel shot in here. I don't know if you can see it. See if this works. No, there we go. Got steel shot in there for polishing jewelry. And I've got like, this is some more soldering stuff that I've got out. I keep like spare jars and spare pickle pots in here as well because they do tend to die quite often. The acid will eat through the bottom. You can kind of see up here, like the acid eats through the bottom and eventually it will just stop working. So I chuck them and then get a new one. but they're like $5 at the thrift store. Yeah, all kinds of chemicals for like different patinas, different soldering chemicals, baking soda for neutralizing other chemicals. That's my acid stuff for the pickle pot. These are flux, this flux for soldering, all that stuff. I've got a couple batches of rings just chilling out here, ready for packaging. I'll show these off better in a different picture, but I've been working on some jewelry today, so that's exciting. This little thing is really important. Got to make sure you've got a net in the bottom of your sink, because there's a lot of little stuff that I wash and I would not want it to go down the sink. Maybe I'll show you a little bit through the drawers in case you're interested. There's my hammer collection. Got quite a few hammers. I don't know if I want to go into all of them and what they do, but this is also kind of cool. So this is a steel hammering block, I think is what it's called. This thing here is a leather bag full of sand. So when I hammer on that, it doesn't make as much noise as it would otherwise. Yeah, oh yeah, a little heater too, in case my feet get cold. All right, what do we got in here? A lot of cool stuff. One of the reasons that I redid this room is because there's a lot of little tiny tools, and I needed a lot of little drawers for that. So I didn't have that before. That's why I had to change out all the furniture. This is like my little catalog of all the wire that I have and what it looks like, in case I need to look through it all. I don't have to actually dig through all of that and make a mess. I can just see the little pieces of it and then pick what I want and then go dig it out. Let's see. I don't know if I want to get into all of this. Ring holders. I use these for setting stones. I use this for measuring ear cuff sizes. I've got more stone setting tools, blades and stuff for like removing stones in case I need to pry open a bezel to remove a stone. Stamps for stamping that this is 925 silver. This is ear cuff cut lengths, as you can see. I've got a center punch to make a little dent to guide a drill bit in case I'm drilling a hole. A lot of little stuff in here. Oh, back there I've got Baby Bell cheese wax, because I use that wax. I put a little bit of that wax on the end of, where is it? This one here. This is, I think it's, yeah, just a chopstick, and this helps me pick up stones in and out of settings if I need to pick up a stone. Here is my chain collection, and that is anti-tarnish bags, which I am intending to put the chain in there at some point, but I haven't got to it yet. Here I've got bezels and decorative pieces. You can see I've got little leaves and things that I can cut off and put on the jewelry. All the different bezel sizes, but this is an example of bezel wire. The bezel is the part that you solder into a circle and then put the stone in it. Got little castings, so like some bull skulls and some antlers. A silver tube. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I didn't own a silver tube, and I was like, let's get some of that. This is just for like designing templates and things in case I want to make a pattern that I reuse over and over, in case I want to hold a piece of jewelry up to my face and see what it looks like. And pieces of leather. When I'm using a vise, and if I'm securing a piece of jewelry in there, the leather helps protect the jewelry. So for example, I've got my vise over here. If I'm setting a stone, I might put the leather here and put the ring in there, and then I can work on it without damaging the ring. And other random stuff. I use leather for all kinds of weird things. Like there's a leather belt here that I hammered onto there to keep the hammers. All right, let's see what's on the other side. Lots of little drawers. Okay, yes, over here I've got earring backs, earring posts, jump rings, More earring backs. Those are rubber ones. I've got pearls, other little doodads. A lot of cool stuff. Balls. A lot of different jump ring sizes. Calculators, some notes. This is some Tool Magic stuff that you can use for coating pliers. This is extra bits. Sorry, let me go back. For coating pliers to keep them from marring silver. I haven't used it yet. I've heard it's good. This I use for organizing projects, and these are a lot of kind of half-done things or things that got damaged and I stopped working on them, or they broke halfway or whatever. I've also got some other rings that I want to disassemble and fix. This is actually a ring that before I started making jewelry, I bought this for myself, and actually the band is really sharp, and I've always wished that I could do something about it, and that was years before I started making jewelry. Anyway, I want to basically take the stone out and remake this ring at some point. Fix the silver, make it more to my liking. Nail polish remover and Q-tips, because sometimes I use Sharpie right there for drawing on the silver, for cutting it or whatever, and then I might need to erase whatever I have drawn. Organizers for other drawers. And I've got some more non-slip stuff, more organizers. All right, so this side is for sawing, shaping and sanding and stuff like that. So that's going to be the theme of these. That's my mask. This is sheets of copper, brass, and bronze. This is my sheets of silver and the tool to measure the thickness in case the piece gets out of place. I can figure out what gauge it is and put it back. This is some more tools. Sometimes I cut little pieces and I have extra to hang around. That's a jig for cutting or filing angles. So if I want to file like a 45-degree angle on something, I can use that. This is another ring holder. Yeah. This is my burrs and scrap drawer. So I'll have this open a lot of the time when I'm working over here on my bench pin, because I'll be reaching in and out and trading these out. I got scrap copper, scrap silver dust from sawing. So you can actually recycle this or burn it down or whatever. Sometimes you can sprinkle it on a project and melt it in for a texture. I haven't tried that yet. I want to try that at some point. This is saw blades. So these are all saw blades. Big batches of them. In case I run out, you can't really, I guess there is now, but before recently there was not a place you could just go and buy saw blades. You can actually, I think you can get them at my own collection in Cornell. But yeah, I got some work holders here. Another little piece of leather to help me hold things. That's to protect my fingers in case I want to use that. This is saw blade lubrication or burr lubrication. It's like a kind of like a wax that you put it on the sharp things to keep them sharp. Elmer's glue, glue stick in case I want to print out a pattern and I can cut that piece of paper, glue it onto the silver with that, and then use that to cut out the shape that I want, and then I can just soak it off with water. It's a pretty common technique. I did not invent that. That's just a well-known way of doing that. Extra burrs and things like that. I've got diamond burrs. I want to use these for cutting some shapes out of those china plates I showed you earlier. Haven't tried that yet. At some point, I will try that. Little sanding discs and things for the flex shaft, grinders, and all kinds of stuff for shaping silver. This is the polishing. I've got a polishing cloth. I've got steel wool. You can use that for removing patina off of the high spots on jewelry. So sometimes I use that. I've got actual polishing compounds here and like flex shaft attachments where I can dip in the compound and then polish it like kind of like a car wax. I've got this Renaissance wax stuff, which is like a finisher. So after you're all done polishing, completely done, and you want your patina to stay the way it is, you can put some of this on that and it'll kind of preserve the patina that you've got on there. Extra mask. This is a different size. And folders and stuff for my silver storage area in case I need more folders. What do I got in here? Saw blade, lubrication. I use this eraser to hold down pieces sometimes, so I'll put a piece here, use this to hold it down while I'm sawing over here, and that way I don't have to put my finger very close to the blade. It's kind of like a non-slip as well. It's kind of useful. A little broom and dustpan for sweeping up the silver dust to put it in that little jar I showed you earlier. More saw lubrication. This is a file for shaping. Pliers. I have cutters and more files over there. All right, and then for soldering, I've got some more soldering stuff in these drawers. So soldering surfaces, actual solder. I've got some specialized solder stuff. Powdered solder, I haven't used that yet, but I want to experiment with that. I think this is the solder paste. This is steel wire for holding things in place. You can tie things together and then solder them. Solder picks. More soldering surfaces. I've got masking mud and yellow ochre, which is also used for masking. That means if you've got a piece that there's an area where you do not want the solder to go, you put this on there and it keeps the solder away. Oh yeah, sanding and shaping. So this kind of goes, if I'm sitting down there, I can reach in here for these. Spare blades. That's for cleaning the files. So if your file gets skunked up with little bits of silver, you can use that to scrape out the silver and kind of renew your saw a little bit. More needle files. Spare soldering surfaces or trays if I want to carry work around the room. Spare masks. Got some incense in here actually because when I first installed, well, I recently replaced the range hood up here and I wanted to test that it was actually taking the smoke out. So I had some incense and I held it up here so I could see where the smoke was going. That test went well, so I'm happy about that. Other spare parts, spare safety stuff, organizers. That goes in the pickle pot. I cut the handle off and I can dip it in the pickle pot because it's made of plastic. The acid will not eat it and I can use it for fishing in and out small pieces. Spare steel wool, just random spare stuff. Light bulbs for the range hood. This is flex shaft maintenance stuff. So I got flex shaft oil, alcohol, which you can use to clean the old oil off. So if you take a piece out and you need to clean it, you can dunk it in a bunch of alcohol, re-oil it, put it back together. Yeah, different parts for the flex shaft, or that's pumice stone for soldering. Again, just more spare parts down here. I think that might be it. Well, there's a lot more that I could say about all of this stuff, but if you have any questions, let me know. Say at minute, whatever, what was that tool? What do you do with it? Be happy to answer that. Hope you have a great day. I almost forgot. There's another part of my studio that's not actually in my studio, but it's where I do a lot of my photography. So that's actually in the guest room area of our basement. So I'm going to show you that. So it's here behind me. See some shelves here in this little area with all the windows. I've got a light box over there. And there's a lot of clutter. Just ignore the clutter. But I've got some shelves here where I keep all photography prop type stuff. You know what, hang on, I'm gonna turn the camera around. Can I do that while I'm filming? No, okay, hang on. All right, here we go. Okay, so basically shelves full of interesting looking objects that match the spirit that I wanna give with my brand and the way my jewelry looks and stuff like that. Just random like pieces of wood and, I don't know, old books and pottery and flower petals, random stuff. Anyway, I've also got like extra displays and things like that, which I need to go through. But this is my light box. There's another lamp too that goes over here that's being used for something else at the moment. But I will essentially, you know, turn the lights on, set up my ring or whatever it is here, have a seat, set up my iPhone, take the pictures right there. Sometimes I'll go outside as well, but sometimes it's in the middle of the night or whatever, so I'll come in here and do that. But yeah, this is my photography area there. Okay, so now that's a complete picture. Now you've seen everything. That's my studio. All right, bye.